lines in one file, and in other case you would need, you see here that previously we had that DRB1, now I've changed that to be to the DB2 demo. And another one you have, because I've created the specific demo database, I'm also specifying here the demo. And to show you that actually I have those databases created, let me just jump very quickly to the DB2 control center. So I'm just showing here that I have created the specific demo database inside my DB2 system, and what I want to show you that initially when you're creating that demo database inside your DB2 instance, then you have just the specific system tables created inside that table, but our demo application by itself will create two additional tables for the demo purposes. And if you will see through this code, so what we actually creating, we will create a table which is called table users, and another table which will be created a table named states. But as I've told, we have here the DB2 demo specified, so we would need also to have that specific file design element, which we will be calling db2 demo.gdbc. Now it's the question how we would find that specific design element. Actually, it's not possible to find it or to specify it via this application view, but because Domino Designer, as you may know, based also on Eclipse framework, what you would need to do, you would need to select specific another so-called Eclipse view, and you would need to jump to the navigator view. So I'm doing that. And in that navigator view, you could see some additional initially hidden folders they were hidden in the application view. Now they are all shown in that navigator view. So in that navigator view we have that web content, web inf, and that GDBC folder. So in that GDBC folder I've already created several, one call it db2 demo GDBC, so let's just open it. And as it was presented in the text of presentation, we have now here the driver specified, which we will use to connect to our DB2 instance. We have the whole connection URL. In this case, my DB2 instance is located on the machine called test VM. Here is the regular listening port for that instance, and inside that DB2, I have that demo database I have shown you through the control center. And two additional properties are the user credential properties to be connected to that database. So at this moment we have specified that we want to connect to that DB2 database. So the only step now requires us actually to launch that database inside our web browser. So my first attempt was not successful, so let me just try to restart, not just to restart HTTP task but let me just quit HTTP task and load it again. So just to be sure that everything is picked up correctly. So we will see now. So what I would like to do next is to launch the demo application inside browser and do the initial setup of that application. So when I will do that, actually those two additional sample tables should be created inside my demo database. So we will see here that users and the states tables should be created inside that demo database. Okay, so now I've had that stopped my HTTP task. Now I will load it again. Oh, okay, my HTTP task not yet finished. Okay, just we need to wait a little bit. So at this point, I would say probably if some already have some question, let me just probably answer one or two of them while I will just wait off my virtual machine while the process will correctly stops. Yeah, now we have that HTTP server task stop it and launch. Probably maybe we could have one or two questions right now.
Andreas, we had a quick question here. Are the relational controls in the 852 version of the extension library or just the 853?
Well, you know, they were initially introduced in 852, but right now the way I'm presenting here, for example, the deployment via the update site NSF is only related to 853 because it was introduced in 853. If, for example, you want to experiment still on 852, then you will need to do some specific manual copy-paste of plugins into the specific directory of your Domino server. But there are those plugins were initially introduced in 852. Yeah.
Okay, now, but the functionality and fixes of bugs will be the same for 852 and 853 as far as the relational controls?
Well, I would say this way, if it's possible for you, then it would be much better if you could try all those new features on 853, because right now we are trying to use that code stream for all those new experimental features, and I am not quite sure if we will be able to port them all back to 852 code stream.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. So now my HTTP server finally was able to shut down properly, so now I'm just will load it again. And because I've told that all plugins now install it on the server, so in theory I should get my application up and running correctly. So I just want to make sure I have that state of my application. So let me just try to relaunch it. Okay, I have it probably. Yeah, so now we have initial success. So by having this picture, it means the one important thing, that all functionality is correctly installed on the server side. But now you could see here that application is clever enough to understand that there are no sample data in that application, so it requires us to click the setup button. And as you could see, because we have changed the some internal Java classes, just two of them, and specified instead of derby1 db2 demo, just let's verify that specification was correct and just click on that test connection. As you could see, now the connection was successful, so that means that our specification inside that specific .gdbc file was done correctly. So what I would like to do next, I want to initialize database, and as I've said, what we get in return of this step is that two tables, users and states, will be created. So let me just try to do that. So it takes a little bit time because this is the disk-oriented procedure. So, but now it was quite quick, and what should we get? Let's just switch to our DB2 control center, and by switching there, we should already have those two tables created. So as already now, I am, for example, database administrator, so I would like to verify that that was really created. So I would like to just update the list of tables, sorry, and to see if those tables were created, if they are created correctly. So we have the control center just needs to update the list of tables which are currently inside that database, and if everything was done correctly, if the connection to your DB2 database was specified correctly, and the user, the actual in this case, if the user was granted the rights to create tables inside your database, because sometimes if you have some user is not yet granted those rights, but here I have the user which are granted all those rights, so we have now those two demo sample tables created. So that means that we have sample tables created, and those sample tables are populated with the sample data. So that means that actually we could start by trying all those demo pages for our demo application, and this application will retrieve all data now from the DB2 database. So as I've told you, there are some samples which show you how to retrieve data either by specifying a table or query, or for example if you could even specify the specific count parameter, so when you navigate through the pages, so this pager controls already knows where to stop, what will be the latest page. So as you could see, we navigated the 13th page, and that is right. And what is also interesting in this demo database is this data source, which allows you to change your data, so it's not just read only, but we could even have some sort of changes. So I could do that, and I could even save my data. So now navigate to next page, return to previous one, and we could see that data were changed. And even what we could do, we could use this demo application for some interesting, for example, debugging purposes. So we could even use it for to see what kind of JDBC driver I am using, for example, to connect to my database. So that is, for example, the presentation of what is included inside this demo application. So you could experiment yourself what is done. But let me do one very quick example of how you would actually create something yourself on the fly. So what I will do right now, I will switch to the regular application view of my demo application. And what I will do here, I have, okay, let me just take some regular page here and just do the copy of it to the same. Let's do paste. Okay, and now let me just rename it. Let's say, call it demo. And now what I would like to show you is how to create your own view which will utilize the one of those available data sources. So now what we have, now I have just the empty